Thanks for joining me today. We're going to take a look at some various window coverings that can be used in different areas of your home for a whole range of applications.
Step into my world. I promise you'll love it here with me.
Window coverings can provide a number of functions for you in your home. The first is to screen a less than gorgeous view, particularly at night and also sometimes during the day. So we put in this bank of breakfast nook windows a set of silhouettes. They're all on the same switch. We programmed the remote to be able to allow all 4 windows to function at the same time. So it's one touch of the button. Additionally, we added the function, of course, of being able to open the blinds during the day to allow for soft light to enter the kitchen. And in this particular case, we specified not clear view silhouettes, but the original silhouettes that provide just a little bit greater sense of privacy and a bit of filtering of the actual view. That way, this family is not eyeing the family across the alley while they both cook dinner. Automated window coverings, depending on their type, so I'm talking specifically about blinds here, can be controlled by either a battery pack or by hardwiring into the home's electrical system. In this case, these were installed long after the home was built, about 15 years. So we did battery packs on this set of silhouettes. They're multi-battery packages that tuck neatly behind the header. You'll never know they're there, and they don't need changing very often, but it gives you the ability to add automation without having to add the electrical wiring and hiring an electrician to tie it into your overall electrical panel, etc., etc. So this is a great way to solve that problem. Another form automation can take is hardwiring. So this is when we actually tie the electrical system into the drapery to allow you to have a permanent and reliable power source to open and close your drapes. In this case, we wanted automation because the light changes a lot through the day in this room, and the homeowner wanted to be able to enjoy the light in the morning and have the coziness of a velvet drape at night. So that's how we approached this one. Because there was an electrical outlet behind me on the wall, we were able to actually take the wiring from that electrical outlet and repurpose it up to the mechanics, or the motor, if you like, of the drapery itself. So in this home, we have a mixture of battery-operated blinds and then some hardwired draperies and shears in the family room. I got the power! But they're also manual in the sense that you just give them a tug and they close themselves. So we added magnets into the center of this drape so that when the 2 panels meet, you hear that subtle click together, and then you don't get what I would call light bleed in between the 2 panels. This kind of an application could also work beautifully in a media room. So if you were doing, say, a downstairs media room, or even if you decided to have a big screen in this room, you would get excellent light control even during the day to be able to watch the big game. Continuity, we continued this same drapery treatment in the dining room and in the family room. Draperies should float just above the finished surface of your floor. 1/4 inch is optimal. Some fabrics will expand and contract. All fabrics will expand and contract with humidity. So you might take that as much as 1/2 inch up, but your materials and your professional fabricator can help you determine what just the right hemline is. But as a guideline, use 1/4 inch off the finished floor. This home office only required a certain level of privacy, not the full privacy that one might need for, say, getting dressed or undressed in a bedroom. So here we just did a very simple manual flake rod operated shear to give a sense of light control, a softening of light really, and a sense of privacy during the day. If the client is working at night, then there are additional blinds that will come down that will give fairly complete privacy. Sleep science has taught us that our circadian rhythms and our melatonin production is tremendously important in regulating our sleep cycles. This is also affected by light. So some people require a blackout situation in their bedrooms in order to be able to sleep properly. This is a really important function. I'll have this conversation with homeowners to find out exactly what level of light control they need in order to be able to get their beauty sleep, and here's what we've learned. A blackout situation is the absolute absence of light. A blackout blind on its own will not necessarily stop all the light from penetrating your sleeping area. Sometimes you need layers of window coverings in order to get that full blackout experience, or you need to add channels to your blackout blind to prevent what we call light bleed from penetrating into the room. In this bedroom, we've done actually 3 layers of window coverings, and that's a little bit more than you would normally do. Usually 2 will suffice. We just continued to build upon the existing blackout blind that got the client about 90% of the light control that they were looking for, but not all of it. To get the rest of it, we added a beautiful drapery panel in a Dupioni silk to add texture to the room and also to cover up the light bleed on the side of the blind. To finish off the room and to give a daytime sense of privacy while still allowing the light to flow in, we added a beautiful layer of shears. Another way to achieve light control in this type of a situation without the addition of a blackout blind would be to add a valance across the top of the window, essentially a small board that runs from wall to wall that would stop the light bleed coming over the top of the drapery. That's another way and a different, just a different path to take to solve the problem of light bleed around the edges of a window in a bedroom. Additionally, you could add a blackout layer to, like a full blackout lining to the drapery panel with that valance, and you would have excellent light control. So if you are ordering a custom blind, make sure you understand just how much light control you're going to have and whether it's truly a blackout or if it's a blackout with bright edges around it, which is what I'm talking about when I say light bleed. Bedrooms should be about softness and luxury. We work so hard during the day, we should have a beautiful softness to land in at the end of the day. A blind alone may give you the light control that you're looking for, but there's something about a drapery that just makes the room feel so much more cozy and human. Depending on the fabric that you specify and the way that the draperies are installed, you can get a certain amount of sound deadening from using a drapery. The thicker the fabric you use, the type of fabric you use, and how many layers of lining and interlining are contained within the fabric itself can make a difference in the sound deadening or muffling properties. But it's not something that will give you a perfect result. You're not going to be able to complete a perfect auditory isolation chamber that way, but you can soften and deaden the noise from your neighbors potentially by a little bit. This room has a combination of automated and manual window coverings on the same window, which is not unusual. Sometimes we'll have automated blinds and manual drapes and shears. So that's what we've got here. Fling rods are used to control the opening and closing of both the shear and the drapery, and then a remote control controls the blinds. One of the advantages of automating versus not automating is your draperies always land in exactly the same place. One of the questions that we often hear relative to window coverings is, why would I spend this much on blinds when I can get them commonly in the marketplace for this much? And I will tell you from my experience working with a bunch of different manufacturers over the years that even though blinds may look the same, they are not created equal, especially with automation, but even without. You might have a very similar looking product at first, but it's the engineering and the quality of fabrication and the quality of the component parts that you are purchasing to last you over the long haul. These have been in here for 15 years and they're still functioning just as beautifully as the day they were installed. Thanks for joining us today. It's been super fun talking about window coverings with you. I know Britt would be absolutely delighted if you'd add your comments in the comment section below. And do let us know if you have questions to anything home related, and we'll incorporate it into a future podcast. In the meantime, take good care.